Job interview, day 2, take 3, audience, and Reagan and I are here too, along with Jasmine. And action. Tell me, you know a lot about what we do as a company. What is it that, tell me about yourself and how you might fit into this.
Well, my name is Sawyer, and since I was little, I've loved art. I grew up with 3 older siblings, so there was always art everywhere, all over the house. I would draw on the walls and the sink, and yes, I wasn't supposed to, but it seemed more fun to have it less on paper and more distributed. There's many stories of me when I was little with art. First and second grade, I would always get stars. The kids would ask, "Can you draw this so I can get a good grade?" And I'd be like, "You can do it." Growing up, whenever we would go camping, if I didn't have like paints or crayons or pencils, my sister and I would take the charcoal from the fire pit and mix it with the lake water and smear it on our faces. And in the dirt, we would draw with the mud, so no matter where I was, I always found a way to make art. When I was a bit older, for example, 7th grade was when I had my first art class, and I was introduced to new mediums such as oil pastels and chalk pastels, different types of paint, acrylic and oil paints. And so I learned by layering different materials, you can create amazing textures. I wrote comic books, I wrote a children's book that I illustrated and wrote, but that was just a fun project. I do much of my art on my free time, but would love to be able to incorporate it into a way that it can connect with more people emotionally and, well, physically. If it can be there where people are in their natural state, I believe it can portray people in their natural state and portray culture and portray amazing things that we miss in our busy lives. So I would love to do my art on the street rather than a museum, because in a museum, people get dressed up, they get ready, they get mentally prepared to see it. On a street, when a person sees art, it's in the art's raw state and the person's raw state. So with my experience in charcoal and graphite, paint, spray paint, graffiti, almost every different kind of art imaginable, and I'm completely willing to explore and learn more. I could do multimedia projects, I can do cultural projects, I can do projects that will portray people's emotions and catch people's interest.
I want you to explore a little bit, because our agency, and we struggle with this with some of our staff, that street art is unique, and like in a museum, you can have a portrait that lasts forever. On street art, it's often temporary, especially like the chalk art and some of the three-dimensional things. How do you deal with that? Because I want to make sure that we're a good match.
Well, as street art wears away, you are left with faded pictures, which can be layered with more new, and you can show the faded and the new as a whole different structure and a whole different way of viewing art. With chalk, yes, it is temporary, but there is so much beauty in the temporarity of it, of going through one day and seeing this beautiful piece and a few days later having it gone, and the mystery of who did this, who takes the time to have something so beautiful for it to be gone. And then of course you can do it again, and you can keep using the same area like a canvas that you repaint. So when people see it, it's new, and it becomes new, and they become excited to see that area in case it's changed again. And it's amazing to be able to layer the old and the new, and if you do an old chalk piece and let it fade, and then do a newer chalk piece and seal it, it will show a lot of dimension and a lot of shape and a lot of abstract ideas and expressionism that can really bring in and portray emotion and capture people's mind into wanting to be able to say, I would like to try that and I would like to do that.
And before our time's up, is there maybe 1 or 2 things where you'd go, okay, I'm the person for this job?
I would love to do this job to be able to bring people into the world of art and the beauty of art. And I would love to be able to connect with children, adults, teenagers, every race, every culture, every type of humanity. I want to be able to connect and bring them into the beauty and the realism of art, even in its most abstract and raw state.
Thank you.